Hey there, everybody. Robert Taylor with Wonderscape Creations, continuing on with another ACF Ultimate series. This time, kicking off with the next portion of it being the world economy portion of the series. I didn't know what else to call it, so that's what we are going to call it. And it's going to go over everything from items to NPCs to crafting. So let's go ahead and get started. The first thing we're going to do is the brief overview of setting everything up for your items. Obviously, now if we right click here, we come into ACF inventory, you'll have your craft recipes, equipable items, this being generic, generic item, generic world item, and then everything that is divided specifically into what it is. Because if you do generic equipable item, it's going to show everything from armor, projectiles, and weapons. I don't think it does accessories. And then if you do a generic item, it's going to show accessories, consumables, crafting materials, quests, I believe. Generic world item is important, and we are going to go over that now. A world item is not the same as a item. The world item is what you will see physically in the world. So these bags are world items. This is its own thing. It's not a world item. It's the chest. So essentially, if you were wanting your world item to look like whatever it's holding, assuming it's only holding one thing, then you would want it to be housing the item, because the world item is only holding information such as its world appearance. That does not include. It's the exact same stuff for the exact same static mesh or skeletal mesh that is shown when it's equipped on the player, if it's equipable. But anyways, the item itself only holds the data. So, the weapon set, the how much it heals, what stats it adjusts, its name, its static or skeletal mesh, things like that. Whereas this will control whether it has physics and all that other jazz. So where you would set up the inventory stuff is obviously in the Ascent inventory settings within your project settings. So here you would do the default currency name, so whatever you want it to be called, and then world item class. I'm currently in Dark and Evil. You will not be seeing any of Dark and Evil, but this is currently where the project is the plugins are being updated. So this one, the world item here is DE underscore base world item underscore world blueprint. That's how they decided to name it in their project. And then you're going to choose the inventory tag, which in this is item. So if you wanted it to be inventory, you could if you really wanted to. Item slot tag, so item slot. Kept it super easy. And that's all you need to worry about in the project settings. So the world item, which I have selected here, when you come into details, as I said, it shows the static mesh and the element, the material. Does it get destroyed once it's gathered? More often than not, you're going to want to make that true. What items is it holding? This one is not holding any, but it is holding gold. And then currency drop variation. So it could be 5 or 15, anywhere from 5 to 15 gold. Now, obviously, like I said, simulate physics and all that jazz. If we select this one, we can see that there is an array item, which is the left sword. Come here, it's an arrow. How many? 30. So as you can see, you set up these how you want. If you're doing a game like Skyrim, then you'll be using world items quite a bit. So you'll need to do whatever code you need to do to make each world item have its own physical appearance of the item in the world. And the physics, if you're wanting the physics. Then lastly, we will quickly go over the chest. It's not much different from the world items, if I'm to be honest. So if there's a widget, which there is in this case, you would store the widget here. Scroll on down here. Oh, that's right. We come down here to the procedural storage. And then here is where you can choose the category of what is being dropped, the rarity, common, min, max. As you can see, it's the item generation rules that we're looking at the moment. So if it's a material, it'll always be common. That way, if you're doing a rarity system, it's already ready for you to implement how you want. And then it's going to have at least 5, but no more than 10. And if it's a weapon, it'll be common. You'll only have 1. So then you choose the items that drop. So shield, so 1 shield will drop. Bullet, so it shows 20 bullets will drop. And then health buff, as 2 will drop. Currency amount 10 to 5. So yeah, that's pretty much how all of that works for the chest as well. I do encourage you guys to mess around with these, make changes if you want, but make sure that you make a child or a duplicate before you do so. Do not make duplicates of your world item. Make children of your world item. Otherwise, you will not be able to find them and utilize them in your game world. Always make sure your world items are children of your world item in your project settings. So thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate your time. Please make sure you like and subscribe. And if you are willing and able, please go ahead and donate to my cause by either buying me a coffee or joining my Patreon. Have a great day.